Hello, guys. Tasman Heart here. Alright, guys. Well, the time has finally come. It is time for me to do my top five favorite films of the 2020s decade. Last Wednesday from last week, I did my top five most hated films of the of the 2020s decade, and I'm gonna say I had a blast doing that list. And as much I had I've been looking for all this list, and as much as I really love doing that list, I'm also really excited to do my top five favorite films of this decade list. And yeah, this is I'm gonna keep it really simple here. So I'm just gonna go ahead to give you all my thoughts on my top five favorite films of the 2020s decade. And and here's the thing: don't expect all of these movies that are like among people's best movies of the decade list. Some of the movies I haven't seen, because there are a couple of movies I haven't seen yet. It will not be on this list. So don't expect all these movies to be on this list. And I know it might be a hot take, but keep in mind those are my personal opinions of what are one of my favorite movies that I saw from the 20 from the 20 this 2020 sorry from the 2020s decade. So yeah, and okay, for the movies that came out this year, we're in the year in 2025. The movies that came out this year will not be on the list because and it does not count, because if you want to know why, it's because it's way too early to talk about, and it's way too early to put this on this list. So don't expect these movies that came out this year to be on the list. And guys, I got my honorable mentions and my top five. So, and here's the thing, guys. This is just my list. This is just my personal opinions. This is just my opinion. If you guys disagree, that's okay. Let's just have fun, and let's try to respect people's opinions. Let's try to have a good time and talk about what are my favorite films of the 2020s decade. And before we get to top five, I got my honorable mentions. And my honorable mentions that I got for movies are that are my favorite films of this decade. My honorable mentions I got are Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Suicide Squad, the James Gunn movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Avatar: The Way of Water, John Wick Chapter 4, Soul, No Time to Die, Dune Part 1, Inside Out 2, and the one movie that almost made my top 5 list, and it is a superhero movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. All these movies are great movies and amazing films on their own, and I love these movies. They just didn't make my top 5 list. But without further ado, let's get to my top 5 list, and let's start my number 5. So my number 5. All right. All right. All right, this is my number 5. All right. All right, number 5 is there we go. My number 5 is the best live action superhero film of the 2020s decade, and this is this film. The Batman, or Matt Reeves' The Batman. Yep. Now, if you guys may ask, I actually think The Batman is the best comic book movie of this decade. Excuse me. The Batman is everything I wanted for this new rebooted Batman film, and you know, with a great story and a great cast and great filmmaking and everything else. Like, yeah, this movie is fantastic, and yeah, the storytelling about the detective story of the Batman is fantastic. It's perfectly done. Robert Pattinson is an amazing Batman. He's actually and he's also a great Bruce Wayne, and but he's also an amazing Batman, and he's actually my favorite portrayal of Batman to put on screen. Well, I do think Christian Bale is my favorite Batman, but that has nothing to take away Robert Pattinson to be a really great to be a really great and a fantastic Batman, as well as Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth is fantastic. Zoe Kraft is sorry to pronounce her name. Um, yeah, yeah, Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle slash Catwoman was really great and fantastic, and as well as Colin Farrell as the Penguin, really great. Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon, and of course Paul Dano as the Riddler, and yeah, many of the acting and the cast members are fantastic, and all the cast is very well done. How they play all these iconic characters from Batman, and yeah, and I wanted to put Spider-Man: No Way Home my number five, but I think the Batman it joins my number five spot because it's everything how you do a really great superhero film and a really great Batman film, and it really shows. While I do prefer The Dark Knight a lot a lot more than this film, but this is just as good. This is just as good, and yeah, yeah. This movie is just absolutely fantastic, and the movie is 3 hours long. Like this movie is close to 3 hours. It wasn't over 3 hours, but it was close. Like it's only 2 hours and 55 minutes, and you know what? It actually flies by, because of how it got invested in the story and the production values, the acting, production values, costume designs, the action, and the suspense, and the neo noir thriller, and it's very nicely paced throughout. And yeah, this movie was everything is absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait for the Batman Part Two. So yeah, that's why the Batman is my number five. All right, my number four. My number four. All right, and this is a sequel that's what made it as good as the first, if not better, and definitely it turned out to be one of the best two-part adaptations they ever done. Even though we got the third movie coming out next year, but yeah, but of course my number four, Dune Part Two. Dune Part Two. My God, what a theatrical experience this movie is. This movie is an epic masterpiece, for start to finish. The storytelling is fantastic and amazing and fantastic and perfectly done. Denis Villeneuve's direction was top notch, and the cast, the acting is fantastic, including Timothy Chalamet as Paul Atreides, Zendaya as Chani, Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, and Josh Brolin as Gurney Halleck, and Dave Bautista as the Beast, I think is whatever name, and of course Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron. Boy, the cast is just top notch, and of course Austin Butler as Fide. Sorry, I cannot pronounce his name. As the villain is fantastic. Like this movie was just everything I wanted for a sequel to be. Now, as much as I love Dune Part One, I loved the first Dune, but I actually like this sequel a lot more because how not only how it does with the story, but how it does with the action scenes and exciting moments. And yeah, this movie was just everything I wanted. Of course, the battle sequences are epic and exciting. The cinematography is one of the best cinematographies I've ever seen put in film this entire year. And the visual effects is one of the best visual effects I've ever seen, not only in 2024, but in this decade. And it definitely deserves to win Best Visual Effects at the Oscars. It rightfully deserves it, because that is their award. I mean, nothing to take away for other movies that got nominated, like Wicked and stuff, but Dune Part 2 is the best visual effects of 2024. And yeah, everything about this movie is just perfection and masterful. Hans Zimmer's musical score is fantastic. Amazing screenplay, production values, costume designs were top notch, and it And this really shows how you do a great filmmaking for a blockbuster movie and for a sequel. And yes, this is how you do a great sequel and a perfect sequel to the first movie. And yes, I'm happy to compare this movie to the next Dark Knight and The Empire Strikes Back. And that's saying a lot because I absolutely love both these movies. They're one of my favorite movies of all time. While I do prefer those, Doom Part 2 is just as good. And yeah, Doom Part 2 is just everything I wanted for a sequel to Dune, and I cannot wait for Doom Part 3, which is one of my most anticipated films of next year. So that's why it's my number 4. Alright, my number 3. Give me a minute. I never thought I would put this movie. I mean, I do expect it to be on my favorite list, but I never thought I was going to put it on my top 5. But man, we're going to talk about an animated film. And they came out last year. My number 3, The Wild Robot. Yep, The Wild Robot. Amazing, fantastic, beautiful animation, great story, great characters, great voice acting, great comedy, great drama, and great emotional moments, and also a great direction by Chris Sanders. And this movie is absolutely fantastic. And going into this movie, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I do think the movie would be great, judging from the trailers. I thought the trailers looked really, really good. I thought it did a great job for how the trailer would show what the movie's gonna look like. Like, I was excited, but I didn't know anything about it because I never know anything about the source material. I never read the book or anything. But I was curious about what this movie turns out. And okay, it's directed by Chris Sanders, who directed Lilo and Stitch and the first How to Train Your Dragon film. And I was like, okay, this actually looks like it could be something interesting. And I saw it. Man, I love this film. This movie was absolutely fantastic, and it's and easily the best animated film from DreamWorks Animation, and easily the best animated film from last year. Like, I never thought it was gonna top Inside Out 2, but when I saw this movie, it actually does. And as much as I love Inside Out 2, The Wild Robot is the best animated film of 2024. And it didn't win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. It was actually my number 1 pick, but it actually gone to Flow. I haven't seen Flow. I wanted to see it. It does look really amazing, so I'm curious to check that out. But The Wild Robot is everything what a family movie asks for, what families ask for an amazing family film. And this is how we all wanted for family films to be. Just a great, exciting family film, and that's what The Wild Robot is. And yeah, this movie was just fantastic. I'm really happy it did well at the box office, and I really cannot wait for a sequel to Wild Robot. To Wild Robot, and knowing Chris Sanders directing the sequel, sign me up. This movie. This movie needed a franchise as long as it's done right. But yeah, I'm excited to see it, and yeah, the Wild Robot. How the story when it talks about, like, family and love and friendship and everything, and yeah, it does show about care about, like, family and stuff. Yeah, and this movie was absolutely fantastic. And Roz being one of the best robot characters in the year, and the animal characters like Bright Bill is a best bird character, and Fink, voiced by Pedro Pascal, as the Fox character is really great. Yeah, the rest of the characters are great too, and yeah, and after how it ended is absolutely perfect. And yeah, the Wild Robot is my number 3, and really curious how the sequel is going to turn out. So yeah, congratulations on the Wild Robot for making an amazing film, and it's on my number 3 spot. Okay, number 2. Okay, top 2 and 1. Those are 2 of my favorite films of the decade list. So my number 2. Speaking of animation, all right, there we go. All right, guys. Speaking of animation, My number two is not only the best animated film of this decade, but the best superhero film of this decade. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yep, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. When I first saw that movie back in 2018, I do think it's going to be great because I was excited because I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of my all-time favorite superhero characters. I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. And when I saw the movie, I fell in love with it, you know? Like, I didn't know what if the movie's going to work or not. I mean, doing an animated Spider-Man movie could work, but I don't know how it will work or not. But when I saw it, man, it was amazing. And you're telling me that this sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, which I also got very excited after, because I love that first movie, you're telling me it's even better than the first? You know, you made one of my favorite movies of the decade. It's Across the Spider-Verse is absolutely amazing, fantastic, and an exciting chapter to this Spider-Verse trilogy that, even though the third movie hasn't come out yet, but still. But, and yeah, this is how you do a great sequel and a proper sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. And the story is fantastic. The characters are fantastic, including Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy and many others are great. And the voice acting is top notch. The animation is one of the best animations ever put on screen. And because I saw this movie on the big screen, and boy, this movie is cinema. This movie is absolutely pure cinema. And yeah, Across the Spider-Verse is just absolutely fantastic. And boy, and you know, it was also really funny, and it has some great comedy, and it has some really great stylized animation. You know, especially with the Lego movie scene. Oh my god, that made me laugh. That made me laugh and made my mind blown. It was like, yeah, it was insane. It's really cool how I wouldn't be surprised if the same people that did the Lego movie did that style. You know, just like what they did with Lego movie. And yeah, yeah, this movie was just, and how they do with the multiverse uh style, how they did with the multiverse is just absolutely fantastic, well done. Because even though, despite how I feel about multiverse being overused nowadays, just I think Spider-Man had the best multiverse because it actually cares about the story. You know, and it's kind of like it's either both No Way Home and Across the Spider-Verse. You know, and if you ask me which I like better, No Way Home or Across the Spider-Verse, as much as I love No Way Home, Across the Spider-Verse I think did the best effort they ever put on for a film. And yeah, this movie is just fantastic. You know, the action with great emotional moments, and has a great story about Gwen Stacy's life, and you know how it actually introduced like the world of Spider-Man, like the world of the Spider-Verse world, looks stunning. And yeah, this movie is just everything, and how they actually pays tribute to the previous Spider-Man films and even the TV shows, the cartoons, looks it's well done. I mean, it didn't show much, but it does show like a lot of Easter eggs, and it's, you know, and what they do with the Easter eggs, it's very well done. It's very well done, and yeah, this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is like one of the longest animated film to date. And it actually didn't feel that long. It actually felt like it was going on for 2 hours. And it got me invested with the story. And my only minor nitpick is that I didn't want this movie to end. Because, of course, it sets up for Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is the third film. And yeah, how it ended, it does get me excited. It made me feel hungry for the third film. And I don't know, it might be the final film. I don't know. And I believe they're going to do a trilogy. Excuse me. So we'll see. But I'm very excited. And it comes out in 2027. And I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. And yeah. But yeah, Across the Spider-Verse didn't win Best Animated Feature. It goes to The Boy and the Heron, which is a Studio Ghibli film, a Hayao Miyazaki film, which I heard amazing things about it. I haven't seen it. I'm curious about it because it does look really good. But yeah, Across the Spider-Verse is everything I wanted for an Into the Spider-Verse sequel, and that's why it's my number two. All right, we get to number one. Out of all the movies that came out in this decade, this is a movie that had a bigger impact on me. And it came out in 2022. And my number one favorite movie of the decade. And you guys may be happy that I had to put this on my list, but this is my number one. This is the best movie of 2022, the best action film ever made, and one of the best legacy sequels ever put out. And yeah, this movie was had a bigger impact on me. My number one favorite movie of the decade, my number one favorite film of the 2020s decade is Top Gun Maverick. Yep, Top Gun Maverick is my number one favorite film of the 2020s decade. Okay. This movie is a cinematic achievement. I love this movie. And I love the original Top Gun. It is a very cheesy movie, but it actually is a great movie, a great 80s classic film. But what the way they did with the sequel, Top Gun Maverick, did it even better than the original. And nothing to take away how great the original is, but this sequel did it perfectly. The story is fantastic. The acting, of course, Tom Cruise as Pete Mitchell is fantastic, and he looked like he was ready to play the role. Of course, that Tom Cruise is an amazing action star, and of course, Miles Teller as Bradley Bradshaw is absolutely fantastic. Val Kilmer, and knowing this is Val Kilmer's final appearance as Tom Kazeski, sorry I can't pronounce his name, is absolutely beautifully done, and knowing how he has a dying cancer, and all I can say is Val Kilmer, may you rest in peace. You're an amazing actor, and we'll always remember you. And yeah, Glenn Powell was great as Lieutenant Jake Hangman. Jennifer Connelly as Penny Benjamin, fantastic. And yeah, many of the rest of the actors are fantastic in this movie too. John Hamm as Clyde Clone, and yeah, Jay Ellis as Lieutenant Rubin, really great. Yeah, many actors, and of course, Makala Barbaro as Phoenix is really great as well. And yeah, the acting is fantastic. The action sequences are exciting, especially with the flight scenes. It's some of the best flight scenes I've ever seen put the film this entire year. The cinematography is one of the best cinematographies I've seen put the film this entire year. How it was not nominated, it's just it's just a crime because yeah, I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah, this movie was just everything what cinema should be, and what movies should be, and also this is also a movie of what blockbusters should be. Exciting film, and nothing anything political, just a great time. Cares about the story and characters, and not all about the money. And this movie, what they did, it's just fantastic. And the budget of this movie cost 170 million, or it might be higher than that. I don't know. Boy, was it well spent. It was very well spent. And yeah, it definitely is worth the spent to have this big budget film like this. The editing is fantastic. Everything about this movie, it's very well paced throughout for a 2 hours and 10 minute runtime. And yeah, this movie was just everything I wanted for a Top Gun sequel to be. Everything I wanted to see for a Top Gun sequel. And knowing this movie became $1 billion at the box office and make it the first movie to make over $1 billion that stars Tom Cruise. Yeah, it really shows. And this movie became, because I didn't expect this movie to make $1 billion. Like, I expected this movie to do great at the box office or do well, but I never expected to make this movie make $1 billion. And look how that turned out. It definitely rightfully deserved it. And it became the second highest grossing movie of 2022. Of course, number one being Avatar: The Way of Water, but hey, at least the Top Gun Maverick made $1 billion, and it definitely rightfully deserved it. And I remember I saw this movie after I got done working at Walmart, and my mom and dad picked me up. We went to Whataburger to eat for lunch, and after that, either lunch or dinner, whichever. After that, we went to go inside and see Top Gun Maverick in theaters, and it was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had in my life. And man, this movie was just everything we all asked for, and I got no flaws with this movie. This is a perfect sequel. How it explains the story, how about how to become the flight or military, and is absolutely perfectly done, and how this movie does, and of course Joseph Krasinski's direction was fantastic. I mean, he did F1 this year, which is a great movie, but this is his best. But Top Gun Maverick is his best film, and yeah, with a great story, great characters, great acting, great action, great screenplay, great. Everything is all great. Everything is all, in fact, everything is all amazing. And yeah, Top Gun Maverick is everything I wanted for a Top Gun sequel, and that is why it's my number one favorite film of the 2020s decade. All right, guys, that should do it for my top five favorite films of the 2020s decade. And if you guys have your personal favorites, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe button, hit thumbs up or anything like that. And I hope you have a good time. I will continue, maybe do my review for Nobody 2 for next week or next Wednesday. Um, yeah. So yeah, and well, actually, yeah, I forgot to mention I did my top five favorite films of the past Friday. I'm sorry about that, guys. My mistake. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy my video for my top five favorite films of the 2020s decade list. And if you do, hit the likes button. And I'll continue doing videos. I'll do my top five most anticipated films of the 2020s of the fall of 2025 for next Friday. So I'll see you guys later, and have a good day, guys.